baseball. Hello, we're here. Juan Soto is a New York Met. I think it was 100 years, 100 billion. No one's happy about it. Let's talk about it. There's no music. I just remembered there's no
Oh
music.
yeah.
How weird is that? Jake story. Actually, I'm not gonna say my full name. I don't want you to remember me if this is your first time seeing me. Juan Soto's a New York Met. Trevor Plouffe, former Minnesota Twin third baseman, Phillies, Rangers, A's, Rays. Uh, Thank you everyone for tuning in and subscribe if you're hearing all that stuff. Trev, tell them what happened.
Juan Soto chose the Mets, essentially. We're learning more about what's coming in the contract, the details. Originally, it was reported 15 years, $765 million, no deferrals, not a penny. Now, again, this we're doing this in real time, we're reacting to it. That would account for $51 million per year. 2 minutes ago, a tweet came out that said there was an opt-out after the fifth year. The Mets can void that opt-out and not let him go anywhere, but the price goes up to $55 million a year. So essentially, this contract is going to be a 15-year, over $800 million deal. So get the six out of your mind, get the seven out of your mind. We're talking 800 M's, and Steve Cohen did his thing. I think that's my biggest takeaway, Jake. I don't even want to hear you talk right now. I like your hat, I think. I don't, but like I know it's a cool hat, so I'm just gonna give that give you some props for there. Steve Cohen came into this league and we said, is this guy gonna change the game? And he said he was going to, and then he didn't. Right? He didn't. He did a few things that were cool, like he paid down some salaries to get a better prospect. We're like, hey, I like that. Um, he brought in David Stearns and said, you know what? Not only am I going to spend at the major league level, but I'm going to improve our player development. I'm going to bolster our farm system up. This is the shit that people were wanting from Steve Cohen. If you're a Mets fan and you say we got the richest owner in the sport, this right here is what it's about. He went out and took the Yankees' prize possession away from them. Reports are, Jake, that the Yankees offered 16 years, $760 million. Now, I'm sure there was some details in that contract as well. The Mets 1 year less, $5 million more on the original deal. And so I think my biggest takeaway here, yes, Steve Cohen did what he said he was going to do, did what people expected him to do. But I think he was able to just have a better meeting with Juan Soto, sell a better story with Juan Soto, because the Yankees had him. The Yankees, or Juan Soto, knew what the Yankees were about. They offered him a massive deal, a deal that is close enough where if he was partial to the Yankees, he would have signed with the Yankees. I think Steve Cohen. I said this with C. Rosie. I think Steve Cohen promised him the world, and I think Juan Soto believes that Steve Cohen can give him the world. And I think that was the difference. I don't think the Steinbrenners can promise the same things that Steve Cohen can. Those are just facts.
Trev, beautiful, by the way, and thank you. And it's the tip of the iceberg. And I was about to say, do you want to start Juan? Do you want to start Mets? Do you want to start Yanks?
Did everything.
I think we'll just stir it in the pot because you already did. And dude, we recorded Talking Yanks before this. Dude, shout out to John Boy Media. Baseball Today is out. Talking Yanks is out. Here we are talking baseball. The end of the line somehow. I thought we were the shop.
That's in line.
What happened? Shea Station is ripping and good for them. And that's kind of where it does start, Trev. We ended our episode of Talking Yanks with like some bad fan fiction of Juan Soto didn't like being a Yankee, or more importantly, Juan Soto wanted to be a Met. He wants to wear the captain's badge. He wants to be the most identifiable Met ever. Maybe he wants that. Maybe he wants to be the man who turned a franchise around and take over. Maybe he will. Uh, when Aaron Judge was a free agent, one of our going away lines was If they don't sign Aaron Judge, you're not the Yankees. He just broke Babe Ruth's home run record. Like, he's about to be your captain. You guys lose Aaron Judge, you're not the Yankees. This is not that. I'm not happy. This is more so the Mets have arrived at the party. It's what you're saying. They've got the richest owner. And we talked about if you're the richest owner and you really want to do this, there's other ways to spend your money, like slightly more profitable ways. Although every sports team ever has made money, so it's a pretty good business venture. Not every team, every professional team at this point. Um, dude, the Mets are here. I don't know what they're gonna do with the rest of their free agency. I don't know what they're gonna. Dude,
They got to go. They got to
I
go, Jake.
I looked at their lineup and I was like, I'm all in on Mark Vientos for the next decade because
Yes.
I think he's gonna learn with Soto. Like I'm already into that sick stuff. That this is the biggest day in Mets history besides them getting announced.
I mean, look, they were a series away from playing against the Yankees in the World Series. Add Juan Soto to that. Now, honestly, if I'm a Mets fan, I'm ecstatic and all these things. Uh, I think they got to go. I think you got to add more. I think they got to replace a lot of starting pitching there. I think this signals that they will. There's no way you sign Juan Soto and then just say, "Yeah, we're good. We'll just figure it out offensively." That's not the case. You got to pass up the big bag Dodgers. Hey, the Braves weren't even around last year. Them and the Rangers never even sniffed competition levels last year. They're going to, the Braves will be back. The Phillies are here. The Dodgers are who they are. So to me, this signals we're all in. Obviously, it's a massive deal, but they need to go out. There's going to be a frontline starting pitcher within the next couple of days that the Mets are going to sign. You can mark my words because this can't be the only move that you make. If you make this move, it's you're jumping in, man. Like you're in the deep end, so you got to continue to go. And I think Steve Cohen has no problem with this. And I said this already with Chris. This is my real process on. Okay, we talk about simulations a lot, right? Steve Cohen's sim. Let's talk about Steve Cohen's simulation for a sec, right here. All right, just bear with me for a second. Before buying the Mets, Steve Cohen was known as a guy who was barred from the SEC, right? I think I
Whoa,
have that terminology correctly,
whoa!
right? Like rich guy,
I
but
don't
like
know.
I don't really know either. He got in trouble financially. Um, rich guy,
Yeah.
but if you Googled his name, that's what would come up.
Mm.
Rich guys like to do things. They think differently than the rest of us. He wants his legacy to be different. This, buying the Mets, taking Juan Soto from the Yankees, trying to win a World Series. Google Steve Cohen's name now. None of that stuff is coming up, Jake. And I think to him, that's worth $1 billion at least. Like he's willing to do that. This is the type of shit we're dealing with Steve Cohen. And you know what? I freaking love it. I love it. The sport needs stuff like this, Jake.
It does.
It needs a new Darth Vader. I don't know. The Yankees, are they the Death Star anymore?
Okay.
I'm
Trev,
serious. Jake, this signing, okay, I know I'm getting crazy here, but this is real. This signing has ramifications for the future of the sport. Big time.
I agree.
About the sport globally, the way people view franchises. This has changed. He was supposed to be a Yankee, dude. He got a taste. They brought him to the World Series, man. I know he's won one before, but you go to the World Series in pinstripes. You're supposed to want to stay a Yankee, man. And Juan Soto bucked that trend, and I think Steve Cohen had a lot to do with it.
Today's episode is sponsored by Corona, the beer for the fan who never loses. How do you like that? And we're going to talk a lot about that. But here's what I mean. Even when they lose, I'm already thinking of different New York pinstripes plans. We got holes to fill. Why not? And if you're a Mets fan, go grab a Corona because, again, a historic day in franchise history. The beer that pairs perfectly with moments and baseball, the joy of the game, home or road, it pairs perfectly. So cheers to everyone who loves the game beyond the scoreboard. Corona for the fans who never lose. Get yours at ordercorona.com, 21 plus, Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer imported by Crown Imports. The other quick John Boy Media plug, our Blitzball battle is going right now. Me and John Boy just played our game tonight. Go check that out on the Warehouse Games channel. It's really good content. Please subscribe and go check that out. Trev, man, I've got so many questions for you because I think what you said is on the nose. I mean, what Cohen has done for his reputation and potentially for the Mets franchise of just changing the whole narrative. We will see. You mentioned the simulation's been good to Cohen. It's been pretty good to me. Like I'm stoked I'm here talking ball at, almost midnight on my Sunday where I was clearly trying to relax and go into Monday. How much do I ask Steve? Genuine question. How much do I ask Steve Cohen to change my fandom? 50
Wait.
mil?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Like Trev, I've started this sick life. I'm talking ball.
Wow.
I'm a diehard Yankees fan. It's my life. I love the Yankees. I've turned it into my livelihood. How much do I get from Uncle Steve to just change my whole identity? I'm Metsy
The
Jake now.
I'll be honest with you. I know this is kind of like a joke thing that
Right.
you're doing right now,
Little bit.
but to change the guy that has a billboard in front of Yankee
Right.
Stadium every year for opening day to become a Mets fan, I don't know about 50 M's, bro. Not gonna lie,
Okay.
you might have overvalued yourself a little bit
Okay.
there,
That's
but
what I'm
like
asking. That's what I'm asking, dude.
I think it could be a seven-figure thing. I'm serious. Look, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
I've hung around
Yeah.
some B words.
Okay.
That means billionaires.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's good.
And the other thing too, but I've hung around these guys. They think differently, man.
Yeah.
Like because everything they don't day to day means nothing to them.
Nothing.
Day to day is what? They'll make whatever they need to make happen. It's about legacy and what can I change to my side. It is. I don't think you're far off, Jake. I think if you got in the talks with Steve Cohen and said, I'll be a Mets fan for you, and I'm obviously a diehard Yankee fan, I think he would value that pretty highly.
I'm
I think
just
that's what
saying.
he's trying to do, Jake. I think that's the purpose
That's what
of
I'm
all of
saying. Trev, this is my episode of Black Mirror. Like Uncle
it.
Steve,
Oh
he sends
my.
the email right now and he's like, hey, 12 mil to become a Mets fan. And I screenshot it. I'm like, no way, dude. Like, I got a good life ahead of me, whatever. Next email's like 25 mil. I'm like, fuck.
Wait, are you saying you would turn down 12 mil right now?
I don't know, dude. Like, I'm pretty happy. I don't need a lot. I like me Yanks. And I like baseball. Um,
I think you should take that to the Steinbrenners and be like, I got 12 mil on this side, bro. What's
uh,
up?
clearly they're not getting there. Um, Trev, let's finish the Mets for a second.
Okay.
Actually, no. Juan Soto, dude, something that we were the number one labor pot in the world. That's when we won the people
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. In the
There was times
trenches.
when I was like, Trev, salary floor would be so good for the game. How come we never consider the salary cap? I know that, and players, dude, you would give me a stink eye you don't normally give me. And you're like, no, dude, salary cap doesn't happen. You won me over. This is it. Um, this doesn't happen without a salary. 15 years, three-quarters of a B word. That's insane. More, 800. That's insane. To play
I, I, I
baseball.
on I honestly I don't even like talking about money like that because yeah, like none of us can fathom that. We really can't, dude. It's a completely different type of level of money. Like we just can't really imagine that. And people work their ass off day in and day out. Obviously never gonna sniff anything even close to that. But I will say this. It just goes to show you like what these teams are worth and what they're making and the financials like right, like don't let them
Yes.
tell you that they can't. Don't let them tell you that they can't.
Yes.
There's so much more on all this. And look again, I think a lot of times talking money is faux pas, but this is the sports world, bro. We're talking about a contract. I want you to think about a few things here that have been crossing through my mind, Jake.
Sure.
First of all, 15 years. What?
Yeah.
That's a long time, bro.
Yeah. Well,
15
5 year
years.
opt out. We should talk 5 year opt out.
Not going to happen. They can void the opt
Right.
out. And if he's just horrible, then they
Then it's
can't.
still gonna yeah, it's still gonna be 15 because he wouldn't opt out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like he's going to be there for
He's there.
15 freaking years. I'm assuming there's a no trade clause. I'm assuming that. That's right. I
I'd
haven't
assume
seen that
I
yet.
think you can assume that.
15 years. So it breaks Fernando Tatis's record. He signed a 14-year deal. I was there when Bryce Harper signed the 13-year deal. I got into the Phillies clubhouse in Clearwater in spring training and I heard the news. I said, 13 years?
Long
That's a
time.
lifetime. And now we're talking 15 for Soto. This is where it gets sick, Jake. And this is where I actually was like, I had to stop myself to think about this a little bit. Let's just call it a smooth 800.
Sure.
Present day value $800 million, right?
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani's present day value, his deal was valued at $461 million.
Right.
Dodgers
Right.
are either the luckiest, the smartest, I don't know what you want to call them, but that Shohei Ohtani's deal looks like an absolute steal now.
It is.
It did before, I know that, but putting it up next to this contract, holy crap. Aaron Judge is making peanuts
Yeah.
compared to Juan Soto. Like this money is insane. And we're back to people used to talk about baseball money all the
Right.
time. And then the NBA came and it's like,
Yeah.
holy shit, NBA money. A couple quarterbacks signed for a lot of money. NFL still has to work all that stuff out. But the NBA kind of took it over, those super max deals. But this is what they're talking about with baseball money, man. This is like, I mean, that sounds like a star soccer player deal. Although I don't know what they earn. I know they earn a lot.
Trev. Yeah. I mean that they're I think they've broken a Billy, but this is right there. Or maybe the more important thing is the next Juan Soto will easily be there, because we see new record contracts every year. Um, Trev, yeah, and this could have been a perfect storm of Cohen wanting to leave his imprint, Boris trying to bounce back from his free agency last year, and
Shout
whatever.
out Scotty B,
How
huh?
about that? How about we were talking with Scotty B going to be the big agent next year? He's doing okay. He's doing okay.
You're doing real good.
Trev, I want to talk some ball a little bit because we danced around it
Oh,
and like the Mets thing. I think we've driven home the impact. I said it's the biggest day in Mets history. Maybe that was a little melodramatic. Um, but man, with a
it could
new
be. It could end up being.
with a new owner and a new star player, you're on a path for that. He's the best hitter I've ever seen. Um, I, there's gonna be a day when I'm old,
What?
and that means he's the best hitter I've ever seen. Easy,
You think he's a better hitter than Aaron Judge?
Trev. When we were talking the golden at bat rule, or you
Whoa.
clicked on a golden at bat article, and it says, imagine if Juan Soto could come up again. Like, it's not shots fired at Judge. His power and the zone he's in right now is incredible, but you can get him out with the right pitches if you want it. I mean, obviously, you're going to lose a lot of battles. Dude, Soto commands the zone. It's Bonds. It's Bonds without the steroids. um, and dude, what if he gets better, Trev? Did you get better at 27, 28? Because he's
I
not
don't
there
know.
yet. Yeah, maybe that's not the
Don't
example.
use me. Please don't compare me to anything one side. He's gonna make more than I made in my career in half a season. So
Did Max Muncy get better? Did Justin Turner? Like, dude, he's entering the start of his prime, and he's
it's
already on the history boards. Dude, with Lindor's season, Soto, Vientos, Nimmo, Marte, and like you said, they're gonna get going. Like, dude, Mets games are must watch next year.
it's incredible. I don't yeah, I don't know. On the Met side, again, I think this has to be the start. Like They have to go get pitchers now. They have to go do that.
Yeah.
What I haven't even done this math. I don't know if it's on our sheet. How much tax is Steve Cohen paying now? Do we have that on the sheet?
That number doesn't get to him. It's a non-issue.
Bobby Golfs, if you can figure out what
It's
the
never
payroll is going to be next year and what taxes they're paying, I'm very curious. Does this $800 million deal end up being a $1.6 billion deal because they're paying dollar for dollar on it?
Now they might, and this has never been a math pod, Rod. See what you can find out. I mean, they had so much money come off the books that until their free agency is finished, we might not have like their actual tax
Sure.
because I don't think they're there yet, but I think they will be. Um, God, the NL East is going to be a bloodbath. The Mets, the Phillies, the Braves. That's insane. The Nationals are supposed to be on the up and up. They're supposed to be a team this free agency. Are they going to retort? The Marlins, I mean,
What about the Marlins?
that's
What do
unfair.
you got on the
Dude,
Marlins?
it's
It's Art Basel right now. Miami's not worried about this.
what is our Basil,
I
bro?
don't know. I know a lot of people that are there
I
though.
think we gotta go.
I don't want to go.
I think that's how they get you.
You got to like be so cool to go to Art Basel, and I think it's Art Basel. Could be Art
Uh
Basel. I don't know.
Uh, this episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like unrivaled quality. A taste of Omaha Steaks. Man, Juan might be getting a lot of steaks. He's buying so many steaks over the next 15 years, and hopefully it's at omahasteaks.com. They got their cyber sale going, 50% off site wide, and you get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code TALKIN, people. Guys, this is Omaha Steaks. Like, kind of, this is legendary.
Yeah.
Their mouthwatering desserts, too. We got those last year. That turned into a Papi Gordo Sunday night deal. Go check out the cyber sale at omahasteaks.com. Promo code TALKIN. Extra $30 off and a $30 reward card when you shop early. omahasteaks.com. 50% off, $30 off, and guys, go check them out. Use
They are
promo code
delicious.
TALKIN.
They are.
I mean, dude, they've been around since I was like young and looking at TV commercials like, what is this? And it's like they're kind of legends in the game. You want to talk Yanks?
Sure.
Trev, I thought we were getting Juan Soto.
I told you this before the show. People who know our stuff, maybe this is the first time you're joining in. We have one of our producers, Dan Rourke, who I mean, there's a lot of Yankee fans in our company, but Dan Rourke might be the biggest Yankee fan. He literally lives and dies. Loves me, not as much as the Yankees, but very
Right.
much. After the show we did with Chris Rose, he didn't even say goodbye.
No.
He couldn't get off fast enough. He's distraught. And I gotta imagine this is, and you tell me, obviously you're living it, Jake. In my mind, this has got to have Yankee fans questioning a lot. Not that you guys weren't already. I feel like there's been a few instances over the last, shoot, 5, 6 years where, look, Bryce Harper didn't come there. Trey Turner, you're going to pass on this guy. And see, you're going to pass. Like, there's a lot of guys that you passed over maybe strategically.
Yeah.
But this was not strategic. This was somebody came out and snatched him from your claws. And I gotta imagine, even though when Steve Cohen bought the team, I think a lot of Yankee fans knew this day was gonna come eventually. It came a lot quicker and it hit a lot closer to home because you had Juan Soto on your team. This wasn't a free agent that never played for the Yankees. So on your team, took your team to the World Series for the first time in 15 years. And then he decided, you know what? Even though the deals are similar, I'm going to go somewhere else. It has to just feel like we're not those guys.
So, I mean, yes, to a degree. Like, some of the early 2000 stuff was insane. Like, if we were doing talking baseball back then, the Yankees salary compared to other teams. It's why there's more stuff in the CBA now. It's why there's more rules around baseball, like because the Yankees and George Steinbrenner like got out of control. Like it's why they became the hated Yankees, which is ironic because they did a lot more winning before they started doing that. For me, it goes back to where I started a little bit. They re-signed Judge. You had to. That one for me, if you he just broke Ruth's home run record, like he's larger than life, had to happen. Soto, there was always kind of the Mets question mark, but we didn't really think it was real. Like, we did a Talking Yanks episode where it's like, ooh, if they don't get Soto, what's it look like? And it's like, trade for Cody Bellinger, Luis Robert, and pinstripes. Like, that's fun. And now it's all real, and it's not fun because it's not Juan Soto, man. Um, sure, the Yankees were going to have some defensive questions. What do you do with Soto, Judge, and Stanton? And, what else do you add after Soto and all of that talk? Dude, you had Juan Soto. Like, go through the Yankees last year. It was Soto and Judge. Glaber had 2 months. Austin Wells had threes. Like, dude, Verdugo was a bust. Like, Volpe didn't have the breakout. Their first base position was historically bad. No Yankee first baseman has homered since July 31st. You're going to hear that. Yeah, dude. It was Soto and Judge.
I know it was. I mean,
The
yeah, I
year,
watched it. I
Trev,
watched
the,
it.
the year before, they did not make the expanded postseason.
I know.
They traded a bunch of guys for Juan Soto. Michael King is a dog. He saw it in the postseason. He struck out like 14 cats one night. That was part of the package. They traded another part of the package for Dylan Cease. The Yankees didn't take a meeting with Bryce Harper because they said it seemed too on the nose and too many fans wanted it.
They said that? Who said
Trev, I
that?
can I can dig up some real quotes for you. And Trev, I think they've had money plans. I think Soto was one of them because, like you said, they went to the 750. And my first instinct was, wait, if Soto's willing to take that deal, why didn't the Yankees give it to it? And it turns out that was their line.
So I don't believe that. I
Okay.
don't. I think if you're willing to go that, you're willing to do anything. This is what I think, and I don't know if I'm right on this, but in
But
my mind, I've been around the organizations, right?
right.
The Yankees have had the same people in place for a long time. I played for an organization that did the same thing. People were there, are still there. Okay. So their thought process hasn't changed much. Like it's still the same people around. Maybe some of the story that they were selling to Juan Soto was dated. Steve Cohen comes in. He's new. He brings in new people, young people, fresh ideas. The story that I'm sure he sold to Juan Soto was fresh and new and sounded like what a 26-year-old kid wanted to hear, dude.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are like, to me, if you put those two up against each other, one's going to sound like the old dude who you're like, shut up, old dude. And the other one's going to sound like, oh, yeah, that's more my language. I don't know how close I am with that, but in my mind, again, being around, I've spent a lot of time around the Yankees organization. I played at that stadium. I've seen what goes on. People have been working there for a long time. Again, and I know that from my own experiences in Minnesota. People have been working there for a long time. It gets old. It doesn't stay up to date. And I think there's that aspect to it because you took meetings, the deals were similar. I think Juan saw himself in the future with the Mets and it favored him that way. Next thing I want to talk about quickly. You ever been to like someone's house and all of a sudden they open up the cupboard and you see all the food they got,
Mm,
all the good snacks.
yeah.
You want those snacks.
Big
You
time.
want those snacks. Red Sox, $700 million for 15 years. They offered Juan Soto. That's been reported. Yankees, $760 million for 16 years. Fan base, the fan bases of those two teams, it's all the cupboard. The cupboard's open. They know the money's there. These two
Mhm.
teams better go out there and spend that money now, or else they're going to have some fan bases that are absolutely pissed off, right? Like, if you're a Yankee fan, they need to go and allocate $50 million somewhere else, if not more. And if they
Right,
don't, what are we doing?
right, but that's it. It gets tricky, dude. Because okay, what's that 50 million gonna get me? Is that gonna get me Christian Walker and Alec Bregman on the corners? Okay. Um, what's that look? Do you think that changes the Yankees? That's 50 mil. I don't know what Christian Walker is going to
I
look
don't know
like in New
what,
York.
I honestly don't know what the Yankees' next move is. I don't think they're guaranteed to sign anybody.
Let me. So,
Think about that. I don't think they're guaranteed to sign anybody. Like, guaranteed this guy's going to go to New York.
right.
There's a lot of other teams that are out there willing to spend money this offseason, and it's big players. This go around in free agency. A lot of big players involved, more so than other years, I believe. The Dodgers are out there. They just signed Blake Trinan, Michael Conforto. Like, they're not
Right.
stopping. I
No,
don't know, man.
Trev, I'm sad and panicked. I think they're going to do something. I don't know how dramatic it is. Jimmy is kind of on the front that they'll go get pitching, like they'll go for a Max Fried, and then you trade a Luis Heel or Nestor, and you get some hitting that way, along with plugging a hole. Like the Yankees still have a path to have an interesting team. It's just really tough. You are a year removed from missing the playoffs. You bring in a guy who, like, Trev, I'm not doing this. Like, I'll tell my social team not to clip it. Juan Soto's the best at bats I've ever seen. Like, Yankees, I've gotten to watch a lot of good players. Soto, the way he controls the zone, and if he wants to foul you off, he'll do that. If he wants to pull a ball, he'll do that. If he wants to trick you, it's everything. Like he's a baseball prodigy. Um, so like I'm a little sad I don't get to see that for 15 years. He was going to Monument Park. I watch all the games. I'm not going to watch Juan Soto, and the Mets fans are, and that's impactful. They're going to get to watch one of the all-time greats that I don't know what the Yankees are going to do. It's scary hours because they rolled out a lineup with Willie Calhoun batting third for a chunk of the year. Jake Bowers, dude,
Oh,
they
this
couldn't
year?
hit. They couldn't hit, coach. Um, so I don't know. I'm extremely nervous to see where they pivot. And yeah, it's a great point, Trev. If you're a Red Sox fan, okay. So Corbin Burns, he's really good. Santander, get him from a division rival. I don't know where the Yanks are gonna land. I think they're gonna land at like a 2-year plan and go from there. But Aaron Judge ain't getting younger. Garrett Cole ain't getting younger. Those guys are low to mid 30s. Body starts feeling a little different. That dude, Juan Soto was part of a whole. The Yanks are going to be good again for a decade, and that is gone. Gone.
I just, yeah. It's not shocking that he went to the Mets. It's not. But
No.
it is shocking to me that these contracts were pretty dang close.
Well, I guess I've talked myself out of that, and you tell me if this is good Jake logic or horrible Jake
Okay.
logic. Like everyone has their walk away point, right? And then everyone has like their real walk away point. That even if the Yankees, they were like, hey, we're walking away at 650, and then they got up to 750 and that was their actual walk away, then that's their actual walk away. Like it's not like we would have heard the Mets went to 1 billion, the Yankees stayed at 700. Like they were going to go kind of tit for tat until they actually tap. So I don't know. That's how I've used my
How do you
logic on it.
figure out what your line is? That's what I want to know. There's no way at the beginning of this free agent period they thought they were going to get to 765, right?
There's some George Costanza who runs the numbers for the Yankees, and they say, if it hits 754, that's where things start getting iffy.
I don't know, man.
right?
I think you could just
How else does it
put
work?
another patch on your sleeve and get Juan Soto. I don't know.
The uh Trev, I was trying to get the Jimmy was in Australia from the
I know.
road, zooming in. Joe's McFly is secretly as broken of a human as you'll see right now. I was trying to get some of the sadness out of them, and they were doing more of the, oh, like let's, okay, trade for Bellinger. Like they're, trying to move on. What's next?
Does Belly
This
have
is
a no trade clause?
this is bad, dude. He has to have a partial one at least, right? Like to
He
take
ain't
that
going to the
contract.
Yankees. Tell you that right now.
Trev, when you were describing the Yankees being like a little older, a little stale. Why would I want to be there? It reminded me of the St. Louis Cardinals a little bit, which made me sick to my stomach. Um, I just
We got a little bit of an update. We want to keep this going as we do it. Dalton's
sure.
on the sheet right now. He said 230 million in salary during the first 5 years, plus there's a $75 million signing bonus, $305 million, um, and $61 million AAV over the first 5 years. So I'm very curious to see how this is it very front loaded, tapering off towards the back. Now there's a $75 million signing bonus that we didn't really know about. A lot of details are going to come out in the next few days as we get all this situated and the contract becomes available to the public. But man,
Know who just had a great free agency?
like everybody,
Every hitter.
yeah, I don't know. The numbers are high this year.
Trev, there was when we were doing off-season episodes, it felt like everywhere I went to talk, a lot of people were nervous about a Pete Alonso. Like, I don't know, something about a big, burly, righty power hitter. His numbers aren't necessarily going up, but they're in a good place. And it was like, do you pay Pete? Do you not pay Pete? You pay Pete. I'm not saying the Yankees are gonna, but that man can hit a lot of homers.
That's oh my gosh, is this going to be like, man, this dude stole my girl. I'm going to steal his slightly like less attractive girl to get
Jimmy
back at
and
him.
Jimmy and Joe's gave a 1,000% you cannot sign Pete Alonso to the Yankees.
You
That's as
could.
that's
It's a little strange.
that's as dirty as it gets. That's that's as dirty as it gets. That's your cousin's dating a girl, and then
I don't know. I think it might be the play.
Judge
I
Stanton
don't
Pete.
know.
I don't know, man. Dude, this
Well,
is what the Yankees front office is actually now having to mull over.
that's an interesting thought process. What's Cash doing right now?
Dude, I people are saying pitching or they're gonna counter. They might not. They might roll young
You
guys
have
out
to
there.
convince people to come to your team. And free agents, it's not as easy as the Yankees snapping their fingers and saying, "Let's go." Max Fried
Right.
had a great meeting. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Max Fried also might want to just play in California.
Right.
You make a pitch for the Angels, bro. I don't know.
Money talks, right? I just offered my fandom to the Mets.
We got this big dinner plan. All the LA guys are getting
Sure.
together. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Well, we'll learn some things then. Can't wait.
Okay. Okay.
You're not from here, so you can't come, but
Oh,
maybe in a couple years.
wow. You got anything else, Trev? Otherwise, I think it's wrap it up.
According to someone on Twitter, this is Bobby Galls. We asked him to get the tax insight here. The Mets will pay a 60% luxury tax on it. So his hit to the team is $80 million per year unless they drop under the threshold. What's 80 times 15? Quick math is 1.2, 1.02.
Yeah.
I got a calculator right here.
1.2.
Billion.
I think 80. Yeah. Yeah. 1.2.
Holy shit. All that to scrub your Google history, man. This is great.
God, I'm gonna go scrub something. Um, Trev, we
Shout out
might
Steve. Hey Steve, I'm like your guy. Don't I'm just I think I'm thinking along with you. It's okay. I like you.
Steve, we love you, dude. For a certain price, I really love you, dude. Congrats to the New York Mets. Maybe a moment in history for them, definitely. And maybe for the Yankees too. Oh God. Man, the other name I was thinking of when we were talking about Alonso or whoever else is left, Xander Bogaerts, man. How quickly did he go from Dansby Swanson to Trey Turner? uh Someone's gonna get that jump. It might be
Yeah.
Breggy, and it might be your team. Hey, you guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much. Everyone tuning in live on a Sunday night. Trevor Plouffe, Rob Sirocco. Um, Subscribe, all the good stuff, and we'll see what happens next. Winter meetings, baby.